You won't find this message because you're searching for it. It arrives when something inside of you finally lets go. It's not because you decided to let go. It's because you reached a point where you no longer needed to search. It happens quietly, without drama, without urgency. Something inside you starts to soften. The pressure you once felt to keep pushing, striving, and forcing fades. It's not that you stop desiring things. It's that your desire no longer feels desperate. The need to control the future, to make things happen on your terms, starts to lose its grip. The truth is, the more you try to force things, the harder it becomes to manifest what you want. But when you finally stop fighting against the current, everything starts to flow naturally. This isn't a call to action. It's a moment of realization. You don't need to learn how to let go, because if you're reading this, you're already in the process of letting go. Something inside of you is shifting, loosening its hold. The urgency, the drive to control everything around you, is no longer as powerful. Instead, you find yourself in a space of neutrality. It's not that you don't care anymore. It's that you no longer need to force things into being. Neutrality is the state where manifestation begins. It's the space where you no longer try to control outcomes, and in that space, things begin to happen effortlessly. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning your desires. It means you're no longer attached to them in a way that makes them feel necessary for your happiness. It means you don't need anything outside of yourself to feel complete. When you stop forcing the future stops resisting you. You start to feel a quiet peace, an alignment that doesn't require you to do anything. The universe doesn't respond to intention alone. It responds to alignment. The more aligned you are with your true self, the more effortless your manifestation becomes. And that alignment is not something you can force. It's something that happens when you stop trying. This is why so many people get stuck in a cycle of effort and disappointment. They feel like they are constantly working hard but getting nowhere. They are always pushing, always striving, and always chasing something. And yet, it feels like the more they push, the further away their desires seem. The truth is, pushing harder doesn't always bring you closer to your goals. In fact, it often works against you. The energy you put into forcing something to happen creates resistance, and resistance blocks the flow of manifestation. It's only when you stop pushing that things begin to unfold naturally. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a river, trying to swim upstream. You fight against the current, using all your strength to move forward, but the current is too strong, and you're getting nowhere. In fact, you're only exhausting yourself. But if you stopped fighting and allowed yourself to float downstream, the current would carry you effortlessly toward your destination. Manifestation works the same way. When you stop fighting, when you stop pushing, you allow the universe to guide you to where you need to be. The more you let go, the more you're carried toward your desires without resistance. This doesn't mean you stop acting or taking steps toward your goals. It simply means you stop needing things to happen in a specific way or at a specific time. You stop clinging to the outcome and allow things to unfold as they are meant to. The more you trust the process, the more aligned you become. And when you're aligned, the universe has no choice but to meet you where you are. The process of letting go isn't about abandoning your desires. It's about releasing the need to control how and when they show up. It's about trusting that the universe knows the best way to deliver what you want. You're still allowed to want things, to dream, to set intentions, but those things no longer control you. They no longer dictate your happiness or your sense of peace. You've found a place within yourself where you are whole, with or without the external things you desire. And it's from that place of wholeness that the universe begins to respond. When you stop trying to force things, when you release the grip you've had on your desires, You create space for something even greater to come into your life. It's like cleaning out your closet. When you clear away the clutter, you create room for new things to enter. The same is true for your desires. When you stop clinging to them, you make space for them to arrive in ways you never imagined. And when they do, they come in ways that feel effortless, as if they've been waiting for you all along. This is the beauty of letting go. It's not about giving up. It's about surrendering to the flow of life. When you stop resisting, everything you want starts to flow toward you. And the moment you stop needing it, you'll realize it was never as far away as you thought. You've already arrived. The most powerful thing you can do is to stop pretending to be something you're not. The moment you stop forcing yourself into a version of you that you think you should be, you open the door to magic. It's not just about being true to yourself because it's morally right, but because it's the only way for things to flow naturally. Pretending to be someone else creates internal conflict, and that conflict delays manifestation. Authenticity is not just a nice idea. It's a foundational part of how the universe responds to you. When you're authentic, you're in alignment. When you're authentic, the universe knows exactly who to respond to. This is why being yourself is so powerful in the manifestation process. Being yourself means you stop trying to fit into a mold. You stop adjusting your dreams to fit what you think is acceptable or safe. You stop second-guessing yourself. This is when manifestation begins to feel effortless. The energy that was once spent adjusting and pretending is now free to flow toward your desires. When you're authentic, your internal signal is coherent. And when your signal is coherent, the universe responds. There is no need to chase, to force, or to try harder. Manifestation happens naturally when you stop resisting who you are and start embracing it fully. This phase may feel like a quiet shift. You won't feel the dramatic changes you might expect. There won't be an immediate, visible confirmation that things are happening. But that's because manifestation doesn't happen in the way you expect. It doesn't happen through struggle or effort. It happens when you stop needing external validation and trust that you're already in the right place. You don't need to force yourself to change. You just need to stop fighting against the flow. The more you stop needing things to happen, the more they begin to happen on their own. When you let go of the need to be someone else, you stop measuring your worth against others. Comparison fades away. You no longer judge your progress by someone else's timeline or achievements. You start to recognize that your path is unique, and that's exactly how it's meant to be. There's no need to look to the left or the right anymore to check where others are. You begin to walk at your own pace, no longer rushing to catch up or worrying about falling behind. You let go of expectations, not because you don't care about the outcome, but because you trust that the outcome is already unfolding. This is a crucial shift. For so long, you've been told to strive, to push, to fight for what you want. But the true power lies in releasing that struggle. When you stop fighting to fit into a box that was never meant for you, the universe begins to carve out your own unique path. No more forcing yourself to fit into a particular mold. No more pretending to be someone you're not. When you allow yourself to be who you truly are, you align with your purpose, and that's when magic begins to unfold. Being authentic isn't always easy. It means showing up as your true self, even when it's uncomfortable. It means letting go of the mask you've worn for so long, the one you put on to protect yourself or to fit in with others. It's about standing in your truth, regardless of how others might perceive you. It's about embracing your flaws, your quirks, your individuality. It's about saying, "This is me, take it or leave it." And the moment you do that, you stop wasting energy on trying to impress anyone else. You stop seeking approval and start living for yourself. And that's when the universe starts to move in your favor. Being yourself isn't just about being honest with others. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about acknowledging your true desires, even if they don't fit the mold that society expects. It's about trusting that your unique path is just as valuable as anyone else's. The more you embrace your authenticity, the more you become magnetic to the things you've been longing for. You stop chasing them because you know they're already on their way to you. You might notice that the more you let go of the need to pretend, the less you need to plan. You no longer feel the need to manipulate the outcome or strategize every move. Instead, you just act when it feels right, not because you have to, but because it's natural. When you stop overthinking and just start being, everything falls into place. You begin to see opportunities in places you never noticed before. People start showing up who align with your energy, and things just seem to flow effortlessly. This is where manifestation begins to feel like magic, but it's not magic at all. It's the natural result of being in alignment with your true self. When you align with your authenticity, you align with your purpose. And when you align with your purpose, the universe has no choice but to respond. You become a magnet for what you've been asking for. You stop chasing your desires because they start coming to you. The more you embrace your authenticity, the more life begins to reflect that back to you. The universe doesn't respond to the version of you that you think you should be. It responds to the real you, the one you've been hiding for so long. Letting go of the need to pretend is not about forcing yourself to be perfect. It's about embracing who you are right now, flaws and all. It's about accepting that you don't need to be anything other than yourself to be worthy of what you desire. When you do this, you stop holding on to expectations, and the universe can finally deliver what you've been asking for. The more authentic you become, the more effortless your manifestations become. You'll realize that you never had to chase your desires because they were always on their way to you. When you stop searching for confirmation, the universe begins to meet you halfway. It's not that the universe withholds things from you until you're ready. It's that you can only receive what you truly want when you stop trying to force it into your life. When you stop needing results to prove your worth or your progress, the universe begins to respond. This is where true manifestation takes place, not in the struggle, but in the ease of trusting the process. As you continue to let go, you'll notice that things start happening without you trying. Opportunities align, conversations flow, things come together without effort. But this doesn't feel like magic at first, it just feels obvious. You'll begin to notice that life is no longer something you need to push. Instead, it's something you simply flow with. You stop looking outward for confirmation. You stop feeling the need to explain your choices or defend your timing. That's because you're no longer chasing anything. You are fully present, and that presence is what the universe begins to respond to. When you stop rushing for the next milestone or outcome, you create space for the universe to bring things to you in its own time. Rushing creates tension. It puts you in a state of mind where you're constantly thinking, when will it happen? But when you stop rushing, the very act of letting go allows things to come to you in perfect timing. You stop worrying about when things will unfold, because you trust that they will. This trust, this peace, is where manifestation takes root. You no longer need to push or strain for what you want. The process becomes effortless. It's as if the universe starts to catch up with you, matching your energy and responding to the signal you're sending. And as you allow that flow to happen, you'll notice that things begin to appear with less effort. The opportunities you once had to chase now come to you without you even asking. The people you've been waiting for show up naturally. The results you were desperate for are now unfolding before you, in their own time and in their own way. And the best part, it all feels easy. Trusting the process doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means showing up authentically, and doing what feels natural, without needing things to happen a certain way. It's about taking aligned action, rather than forcing outcomes. When you trust, you act without hesitation because you know that what you do is leading you exactly where you need to be. This trust creates momentum, but it's a momentum that comes without resistance. It's not about trying harder or doing more. It's about being true to yourself and letting life unfold as it should. Manifestation accelerates when you stop worrying about the timing. When you stop watching the clock, the moments begin to arrive. The most powerful part of manifestation is the quiet acceptance that everything will happen when it's meant to, not when you decide it should. And that's a huge shift. It's the moment you stop needing proof of progress. You stop trying to validate your worth by external events. Instead, you realize that the only validation you need is within yourself. You no longer question if you're doing the right thing. You trust that every step is part of the process. This trust becomes a self-sustaining cycle. The more you trust the process, the more things happen effortlessly. And as things happen, you find yourself trusting even more. The universe begins to mirror your trust, and before you know it, you're living in alignment with your desires without even trying. This is when manifestation truly becomes natural. It's not something you're working for. It's something that's already in motion, and you're simply allowing it to happen. The key to trusting the process is to stop needing the outcome to define you. Too often, we attach our worth to what we're trying to achieve. We think that once we reach our goal, we'll feel complete. But true completion comes from realizing that you are already whole, regardless of what happens next. When you stop attaching your sense of self to your goals, you free yourself from the anxiety and pressure of waiting. And that's when things start to fall into place naturally. As you release this need for external validation, you'll notice a shift in your energy. Things that once felt hard now feel easy. The resistance that once held you back starts to dissolve. You become a magnet for what you want because you're no longer fighting for it. You're simply allowing it to come to you. The universe doesn't need to be pushed or controlled. It responds to your internal state of being, to your alignment with who you truly are. This is where true magic happens. It's not some supernatural force or some mysterious secret. It's simply the result of being in harmony with yourself and the world around you. When you let go of control and trust the process, things begin to fall into place in ways that feel almost effortless. Life starts to flow, and manifestation becomes a natural part of that flow. The beauty of trusting the process is that you no longer need to know how things will unfold. You don't need to figure it out. You don't need to stress about every little detail. All you need to do is stay aligned, stay authentic, and trust that the universe is bringing everything you need to you at the perfect time. And when you stop needing to control every aspect of your life, you'll realize that things were always coming to you. They just had to find their way in without interference. So, trust the process. Let go of the need to know the how or the when. Simply live, be present, and allow things to unfold. That's when the universe will show you that what you want is already on its way to you.